Hi, it's Leah here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County. So if you are somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today, set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon. And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Hey, everybody, guess what time it is? Les is back.
Les
who? Back.
Who?
You got
Les.
Nutter, you still remember me, right?
Not Nutter.
Nutter.
That is Dr. Ihart.
Dr. Ihart. Dr. Ihart, who's letting us have
And
pink.
Connecticut is in the booth today.
Hi, Connecticut. The first thing I want to do is say, hi, Doc, I really missed you. And thanks for the checks. But I want to say
we missed you, Les. We missed you,
I
Les.
did too.
I'm sorry, what's his name again?
And we got Freddy S here. We got Mr. Ihart. We got Mrs. Ihart, and we got the beautiful and talented Linda, making sure that we don't get into trouble. Doc, I got to ask you a question, Freddy. You know the answer to this. Does anybody know what the word trickery means?
Trickery.
Trickery. It's not a coffee. It's not the stuff you put in coffee. Trickery.
No, that's chicory.
Trickery. This is trickery.
With the T.
Somehow, somewhere,
Yes, we know that.
I heard someone say something about trickery. So let me give you the meaning of trickery, folks. Yeah. Deception, which you don't do.
Right.
Deceit, you don't do.
Right.
Duplicity, you don't do. I'll explain you what that means later, Freddie. Subterfuge, you don't do. Nope. And fraud, you don't do. So now, folks.
Where are you getting these words?
I'm a very bright guy, Freddie. I study. So I just want everyone to know this. If you feel or think that anything that Dr. Pannozzo does is something that Penn and Teller does.
Any of those things.
Does his?
We could prove everything by x-rays. In fact, Freddie, if they want to go to his app,
yes,
where do they go?
You go to wherever you download apps. You go to the iApp store.
And it's free.
And it's free. Or you go to anywhere that you download your apps on your phone. You type in pannozzo.tv.
It's in Google also, right?
Yeah, it's everywhere. Even Dr. Pannozzo today downloaded
I downloaded my own app today.
And what you will see are actual people.
Absolutely.
Real people, and showing the x-rays. Just to let everyone understand, he could lose his license. We could all be in jail if we put on phony x-rays. I could be sitting in jail with Guido. No, I don't want to be in jail with Guido.
That's true.
Well, the funny thing here, Doc, is that you have put up a whole new line of video where you're talking to patients that have waived and everything else. Everything's legal. Mm-hmm. After they air in Boston and New York, we then will put it on your app so they can see the inner workings of the mind of Pannozzo.
You could actually see patients, folks, actual patients. In fact, everything we do now and always is when you see a patient, this is not professionally done for a reason. When you see a patient come in, you see Dr. Pannozzo going through what he normally does. In fact, Doc, you're the best thing. A new patient comes in. Explain how you do it.
Well, we just take a history.
Right.
And do an exam, and then we do our special films that we do, and then we do a treatment.
Right.
And it's all just recorded as it happens. There's no cut-ins or anything. This is what you're seeing. And then the patients get a chance to tell you if they feel better or not. Now, for instance, the ringing. You know, there's no test for ringing.
Ringing in the ear.
Ringing in the ear.
I just told my wife to pick up the phone.
There's no test for that. So when a person says they have ringing in the ears, you got to believe them, right?
Sure.
All right. Now, when they say that the ringing is gone, then you got to believe that too, right?
That's right.
And that's what you see on these programs that we've recorded, and you see the people telling you how they feel.
But you know why that's such a remarkable thing?
because no one's been able to figure out how to stop it.
Les, what do they look at when they say I have ringing in the ears, Doc?
Well,
they take the instrument, they look in your ear.
Yeah, well, or they put you on that table and they say to you, "We've got to get the crystals." I've been putting my ears trying to find those crystals.
The crystals in the ear. Then they'll give you the wrong
No, I'm
place.
serious. They put you on a chair, they move you around.
Listen, people listening to this, that whole thing is garbage. There is no proof. There is no nothing to it. Some expert in some medical school said this is what you do, so everybody does it. But there's no science there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you don't have a result right away, what good is it, right?
Well, first of all, you have to have the cause. Where'd it come from?
We always say that your treatment's only is good if you get an improvement right away.
Mm-hmm.
Don't wait a year. Don't wait, it's got to be right now, right away. 2-3 days, and that's it.
And it's funny because, Doc, folks, I don't work for Dr. Pannozzo, neither does Freddie. We just do a show for Dr. Pannozzo, and I periodically go in unannounced to see what he's doing. And I have seen people, in fact,
That's true.
what was it? No, the day, Friday,
Yeah.
someone came in with ringing in the ears, and he fixed it.
Yep.
And they looked at me, and I'm looking, and I'm saying to myself, it is totally amazing. I know, you know what? I can understand why people think it's trickery, because you know what? This is something that you don't have to go for surgery for.
But there's, we did the research on it. So believe me, it's very scientific. And if somebody wants to know, some qualified wants to know how we did it, just call up and I'll tell you how we did the research. And remember, my son works with me too. So we get an idea. He works it out and I work it out. And that's how you get the truth.
800-889-0267. Let me just say this. For anyone who thinks that this is trickery, I got the greatest thing for you. If you or a friend have a problem with pain, whether it be migraine, tinnitus, which is ringing in the ear for all those people that don't read the medical books, or pain in the shoulder, or any of this stuff, come on in and see if it's trickery. That's the best way to find out.
But funny thing, Lance?
Am I right, Doc? Let them come in and get taken care of.
The funny thing here is that the trickery is on the other side of the fence. Okay, because if I'm going to tell you crystals in the ear, is that not trickery?
I think it is.
It's very hard for people who don't get the results to understand that they're not doing the right thing. I mean, that's the way I feel about my own work. If I don't get the results right away, I'm doing the wrong thing. I've got to research that more, which we did for ankles, shoulders, knees, hips, neck, dorsal spine, lower back pain, arms, elbows. All that's been researched through the anatomical lab. So it's all true, and what you see is all true too. Look, if somebody can't bend, and they tell you I can't bend on film, and in 5 minutes they're bending, what do you think? I mean, anybody with a scientific mind has got to say, how'd you do that?
And these are real patients.
These are real patients.
Coming in.
I mean, they have all signed affidavits also that they're telling the truth. They were not coached. There's no scripts.
No.
Nothing. This is a real thing.
Well, we were on shooting Two Boys, and the board operator, you remember the young girl with the glasses?
Yes.
She came in here, and I saw her. She changed last. I could not recognize her.
I know. Kaneko was telling me the same thing. The best thing she ever did was doing that show that day.
And that's right. And you took care of her, and you took her off her meds. And we're going to talk about...
That was a one-day treatment.
Yeah.
One-day treatment?
1 day, yeah.
She had been taking all those meds for a year. She was losing her job, her everything. And I took all that pain out in 1 day.
What about Jimmy from...
I haven't seen her since. She didn't come back.
No. I said you should just
told
come say hi to Dr. Pannozzo.
Yeah.
Well, look at Jimmy up at the Port St. Lucie office. He was coming in, and he stopped coming in because he got on the radio and said, "My God, best thing I've ever done. I spent a lot of money." How about the guy who suffered from migraines for 20 years?
Yep.
I mean, these are all true stories.
They're all true stories.
You know what, Doc? You couldn't even make this up if you wanted to.
You couldn't make it up because you'd have to be willing to go one step after that to prove it somehow.
Yeah.
And we don't have to worry about it. These are all truth.
And you dissected the brain with a couple of other doctors to find out where migraines emanate from?
Not the brain.
The what? I'm sorry. Why did you dissect? What did you do?
In the anatomy lab.
Oh, okay.
With a professor.
Okay, I was out for a couple of weeks, Doc. I forgot what you do.
No, that was last year.
Okay,
with a professor, and we dissected 3 areas that I thought were causing migraine, and they were completely safe the way they were made. So now we can treat those with no problem at all.
And for whoever called up about tricky, I want you to look up in the dictionary and see what relief and cure means. Aspirin relieves the pain. Okay.
Well,
Botox relieves the pain.
Well, I'm not going to beat up on because I know where it came from, and Doc just started in Boston, and everybody's like, is this real or what? So I understand that part of it.
No, when you look at it logically, I can understand people. I would say to myself, if I didn't actually meet him, that come on, a guy gets a shot.
Let's be honest.
Right.
You sent me in first because you said, I don't know, this guy's telling
Yeah,
me
I
the
was sent you in
truth.
first.
Okay, so don't make it sound like you were all gung-ho at the beginning.
No,
It
it
took
wasn't.
a little while
I
to
told him in
understand
the car
this.
I wasn't all gung-ho when I met him. I said, how could... I'm sitting there when I sent you in, and there must have been, at that time, 30 people. 2 people were outside eating lunch. And I'm saying to myself, this place is packed. I sent you in, and guess what? How did you do?
I did real well.
How about a bodybuilder that was in her late 50s with
She
all
won.
that pain, ended up winning a contest
Yeah.
against people younger than her because of him?
And there was a guy who was on painkillers,
big, heavy guy.
which I want to talk about.
Yeah.
This is the latest thing coming out now.
Opioids, right?
Yeah. And this guy was on painkillers, and he was an addict, and he stopped taking them because you cured him. And I think that in itself is worth coming to see Dr. Pannozzo.
Well, the problem that he had with bodybuilding is he couldn't get his weight down because he didn't do cardio. We have pictures of him crying when his pain got away.
Ankle. Yeah, that was.
That was bad. He had all that metal in his foot.
I felt really bad for him because he was so emotional.
Motorcycle accident, right?
Motorcycle
accident.
But you took him off the meds. He was on meds for almost a year.
And you said you saw him.
I saw him. Me and Linda saw him at the bank.
We don't take anybody off meds. We just don't give it to them.
Right, but he got off the meds because you took away the
They
pain.
have to get off by themselves. We don't deal with it at all.
Number one reason people take those painkillers is because they got to get over the pain in their body. What was happening? Yeah. And I saw him a year later at the bank. He must have dropped 60 pounds. He looked like Hulk Hogan again.
Well, he was a big guy. I mean, he was a big muscle guy, but his belly was as big as his arms.
I had no belly when I saw him the second time, and he said, "Pannozzo, give me my life back." I said, you should stop by and say that. He stopped by, Doc.
Yeah.
He says, you have so many people there that he's busy. He walked out.
Actually, we're not that busy. Once in a while, the waiting room gets filled. But you see, the idea is not to have people come back.
Right.
You want to fix them the first day, which we have always tried to do. Fix people in one day so you don't come back. They asked me, when's my next appointment? I said, you have none. Don't come back unless you need to.
And we had, Doc, a lot of things I'll repeat only because we have Boston now.
Yeah, we have.
And I remember I was there that day when patient came in and said, I'm having pains. And he said, what are you having? So I showed, he looked, he says, there's nothing there. Here's a guy that actually begged for shots. And he said, I can't give you a shot because I don't know where the pain is. It doesn't show everything that I'm looking at there doesn't show that you have pain. Yeah. So how many doctors do you know would do that?
Well, it's true. I don't know any doctor that would.
How many doctors would you know? And I know this personally because I sent the girl over there. He's chasing a pain for this girl.
Yeah.
And you know what she said to me? She said, my father thought this guy didn't know what he was doing. But any guy, doctor, in all my years of being on the plant, the father was like 80, that doesn't charge you because he wants to cure you, that's a doctor I want to go to.
Well,
okay.
Think
about that.
The one show that I saw, the kid that was a pitcher in high school.
Oh, I saw that. I was there when the kid was doing it. I was at that one.
And the father was with him.
Yeah.
And you did what you do, and the kid's moving his arm again. Now this kid was put on the bench for 6 weeks, told not to move.
I was there when I shot that. I saw that kid.
That to me was unbelievable. And the father doesn't know what to do. He's standing next to Pannozzo. He goes, "What do we do now?"
Well, after this, the kid's going.
He's flinging his arm like he's pitching.
And his father said, "How does it feel?" I said, "It feels great." And the father looked and said,
"I don't know what to do." Now, have you heard from that family?
No.
Is he pitching again?
He's pitching again.
Yeah, but I want to know if he's pitching. I want to go see him.
Yeah, I don't know where he's pitching though. We didn't. We could have to get his record out and find out. But,
amazing story. And the ringing in the ears of the girl.
Oh, it's amazing. Amazing.
When she says the ringing's gone, you should have seen her
Oh,
face.
the one that was talking to me.
Yes.
We're using up time.
Her eyes grew this big.
Yeah.
I could
Do
not
you have the
believe
big guy on there that came in? The big guy.
Yeah.
That had the ringing. You see that one, Freddie?
I did. I saw just the girl.
He had this big guy. Look, I was, and as he was coming out, I said to myself, "Oh God, please let it work." He goes like this. You see my camera? goes this.
Yeah, they move their head around.
Geez, the first time. Hey, Doc, how long is this going to be? He says, forever. He said, are you serious? Wow.
Well,
what a feeling.
Fella, he was 6'5". That's what we're talking about. Big
Yeah.
guy. But he came in the next day. He wanted the other side done.
Okay.
He said that the first one worked perfect. I want the other side done, so I did the other one. So that's how it is. You can control your treatment. I mean, if you need it, just come in and get it. Otherwise,
What was that
tell me how good you did over the phone.
that night? Yeah. Hey, look, folks.
Yeah,
if you've gone to Dr. Pannozzo, and whether you had a good result or a bad result, call us up today. It's 800-889-0267. I know a lot of people are probably going away now because tomorrow is Memorial Day. They're taking a 3-day vacation. I know IHOP was closed on Friday. Another thing that I saw, Doc, that little Asian lady who came in who couldn't bend at all.
Asian lady.
Well, you're not supposed to say Chinese. You're supposed to say Asian. Am I right? Am I right, Linda? Thank you.
Oh, you guys are so PC. I mean,
I'm getting good because he wants me to tone it down on my other show, so I'm worrying now.
He's practicing.
I'm practicing. And this Asian lady said, I can't bend. Gave her 2 shots. She bent all the way down. He says, yeah, but I can't touch my toes. So I'm saying, she couldn't bend. So Dr. Bell said, so wait a little while. Walked around a little. She touched her toes. And the husband said, oh, no, I'm sorry. And the husband...
You know what I mean? This is what I got to deal with, Doc.
And the husband said, that is amazing. Amazing. I mean, here's what people don't understand, guys. I mean, look, I've been there. Guess what? I'm a patient. Okay? I'm the guy that sits and watches football and says, he's going to be out 4 weeks with a groin injury. I was out one day playing. The day I saw him, I had my 2 shots. I was doing squats at the gym.
Well, I got a question for Dr.
Come on.
Pannozzo. Petty, the backup quarterback to the Jets, threw a pass, got hit underneath.
Who was that?
Here. Petty.
Who's the main
quarterback to the
now?
Jets?
Sanchez?
Fitzpatrick.
Oh, I like Fitzpatrick. Go ahead.
So Petty gets hit, shoulder gets hurt, he's out for 6 weeks. Now, getting hit there, is that a sprain, strain, ligament damage? What?
well, it's nothing. It's just a bruise.
So it's a bruise. So do you think it takes 6 weeks to heal?
Absolutely not. That's mismanagement. That is the doctors drop the ball. They don't know what to do because it's not surgical. You got to remember, you got surgeons.
No surgeon.
in
No
charge.
surgery.
There should be no surgeons in charge. Absolutely not, because they do a particular job, and that's all they do. You need a doctor who manages the problem. And if they need a surgery, they can refer it out. But a surgeon should not be in charge of these teams. This is wrong. And the trainers love it because they get carte blanche.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you something. If you're listening to us on 94.3 or 1230 WBZT, and you just got cut because they did cut downs this week to 53. So there was 1,000 guys got cut this week.
Wait, just stop. Before you go on, I want you to go on. This is the only shot that is approved by the NFL. It is not a performance enhancement.
No,
It's not a dope.
anti-inflammatory. It's
I didn't
not,
mean to interrupt you, Freddie. Go ahead.
But those guys that got cut, half of them got cut because they played injured. Now, if you're going to go
Number
in...
23, I saw that one, who got injured. They cut him from the
They
Dolphins.
cut him. If you're going to try out for a professional team and you're going to go in injured, I guarantee you making the team is almost impossible. So, my message is this. If you're injured, come and see Dr. Pannozzo. You got nothing to lose,
No.
and it increases your chances of making the team. Are you
Absolutely.
listening, Mr. Amaro? Mr. I have a bad shoulder. They operated it. Scar tissue's in there. He can't lift it. He could not make the team. He was cut.
That
And I
is-
love the kid. He's from Texas.
No, it's
It's
That-
just ridiculous.
that is
look
really
at Tony
dumb.
Romo.
Athletes
He's got
should-
a pulled muscle in his back.
I heard it was a crack back.
No.
He had
Why
a
was a
crack.
pulled muscle?
crack
He had back surgery last year.
For that?
For something, he got back surgery. He was out all of last year. Now he's
I
going to be
can't
out for
believe
9
he's got-
games, and he's their number 1 quarterback.
Not anymore.
Not
No,
anymore.
exactly
They signed Sanchez yesterday.
Yes, Sanchez.
First of all, they don't know how to handle the scar tissue. The surgeons are not trained in this. Don't forget, this is musculoskeletal medicine. This is not a surgical thing. So they operate, then they walk away. There's nothing they have. They have nothing to offer.
Well,
So who gets it?
that's right.
You drop the care down to who?
It's like Medicare wants to drop the care down because they don't want to pay.
They drop the care down to a trainer.
That's right.
And what does he know about it? Nothing. We used to train trainers when I was in Ohio. I had a gym, like 30,000 square feet. It was a huge thing, and I designed it and built it.
What a great idea to have someone like you at a gym.
Yeah. So what happened was,
I'm serious.
we had room to have classes in there. So we had classes for trainers, and they'd take these tests, and they'd be personal trainers. I mean, no depth at all. I mean, I'm telling you, no depth.
But you don't like personal trainers.
Pardon?
Personal trainers that train at the gym. No, wait. Personal trainers that train at a gym.
You're killing me.
No, because
you're
I
killing
said
me.
you taught them the right way to train people. If you go to a gym now and see the way they train people, it's horrendous.
They have no basis and no science to it. This is what I'm.
That's what I'm trying
That's
to
why
bring
I'm bringing
out.
it up. They're all nice guys. They
Yeah.
look terrific. Big muscles and true crew haircut. I mean, they're really great. And the women are wonderful too. Great bodies.
Oh yeah.
But remember the depth. I have trainers all over who refer patients to me to get them over their difficulties so they can train again. But there's so many trainers who don't understand it at all. They don't do it, and they don't understand it.
It's only a 6-week course.
They're afraid of losing the business. They make more business if they're honest. When you say you don't know, you should say you don't know. And people respect that.
Look, I do it all the time.
If you try to get by without knowing, then it's going to be a disrespect to you because it's dishonest.
Well, the bottom line is that the philosophy of playing a national league, anything, a national sports team, you got to perform at your highest peak. If you have shoulder surgery and you're recouping from that, you're back after a year, and you don't have enough sense that you can't lift your arm, you're not going to make this team. I don't care if you walk on water. You're not going to make this team.
But you're going to hurt more.
Well, not only are you hurting more, but it cuts down the ability to be looked at because you're not doing something above the grade.
Absolutely right. When you're performing, you have to be at the top peak physically.
That's right.
And mentally. Don't take drugs. And you've got to perform. And so you have to go where you can perform.
That's
so
right.
if you have the difficulty raising your arm, I mean, you got to go somewhere to fix it.
You're going to be looking down on. And he was a number, I think, 4 draft pick. So they have to look at him because they paid him all this money.
But is it if you're in pain in some way, you try to compensate by using the other part of your body, and then that part of the body gets hurt more, like with legs?
It can.
Well,
yeah.
That's true, but you can always pick it up if you know how to examine, which I do. What the examinations we do and the history for that are unique to us. We developed all this. So if I say, get it done somewhere, you're not going to get it done somewhere.
I'd like to
So
now.
any of these teams, if they're going to put what's their payroll a year? 100 billion? Something.
Oh, billion! It's over $1 billion at payroll.
No, it's 172 million. I think is the
per year.
Yeah.
No, it's got to be. What we talking about?
team.
The athletes?
No, I'm not talking
No.
about the contract. I'm talking about per year
per
what
team.
they're spending.
How much they have to spend? 172 million. I think is the cutoff.
Well, they got guys that are getting 100. Oh,
You
but
think
they break
that
it up over years.
you
I
think
understand what
that
you're
for that money, and if it was my money, I would absolutely get the value for it. But they don't seem to get the value for it.
Well, they got a running back on the Jets who's been out for 8 weeks with a hammy injury, right?
Oh, man.
8 weeks. So they finally put him
This
in.
is a failure of treatment, my man. This is a failure.
And you know how he hurt
Get
himself?
away from that. Huh?
Jogging.
Jogging.
He hurt himself jogging.
No, he didn't.
I know he didn't. That's got to be a lie. 8 weeks. Now he's going to play injured. Here we go again.
How did
So-
he get hurt jogging?
Because that's a lie. It's not, he did something. He pulled something. He did something. I mean, he's a running back. He gets hit in the hip. The more I think about how you say that there's that pain that goes from the hip to the hamstrings and all that, the more I think about that, as you get older, it takes a little bit longer with compression and ice to get healed.
Well, compression and ice doesn't do it. So a lot
That's
of these
right.
guys get hurt making love. They're probably out there really.
Well,
I have experience treating people like that.
I got one for you right now.
I don't know about that.
I'm watching TV in Atlanta, and this commercial comes on for the CLE, C-L-E, CLE. I asked our
is
buddy,
that?
let me tell you this one. The CLE goes around your thigh. It's got a red dot. You press the button, and the concept of the CLE is, ready for this? To send messages to the brain that you have a pain in your shoulder, or you have a pain in your, it has directions. Turn it to the right if you, and guess what?
What are you talking about?
This is a new thing that they're advertising. It's $49.95 a month. It's called the Kui.
So I put it on my leg and I got a pain in my shoulder?
Leg to get rid of the. It sends messages to the brain. Now let me ask you a question. Isn't that what aspirin does? Sends messages to the brain that you have pain.
This is a rip-off of acupuncture.
Yeah.
Where you put the needles in, then they went to the electric stimulator, but the whole thing is nonsense. You don't know what you're treating. You have to know what you're treating, and that thing is going to go by the way. Oh, do you ever see the other one where you lay down with your knees bent on this little machine that does this?
Oh yeah, it goes up and down. Yeah.
And that's supposed to treat your back. That is the total rip-off. You can't treat your back that way.
How about the teeter-totter?
The back is not being moved that way.
How about the teeter-totter?
Les,
Yeah?
I got something called the snap.
What's that?
You put a tire, you take a car battery and you put it in your mouth. And I zap you. And I guarantee you ain't going to feel nothing.
No. I would now like to get, because since Boston is on now, I want to get some questions from Boston. Are you okay with that, guys?
Okay.
Okay, Sammy. Hey, Sammy, I'm glad you were watching the show. Thank you so much. He says, I watch many of your shows on your website, and my father is currently taking cortisone in his neck for pain due to a car accident. The doctor said it would help with the pain for 3 months, and we would have to come back to get another shot. Isn't cortisone bad for the body, and how would your procedure be different? Does your medicine have any negative effects?
No.
Okay.
Is cortisone bad for the body?
No.
Is the cortisone going to help him get totally cured, though?
If it goes in the right spot.
Okay.
That's the whole key.
Okay.
I mean, we use our technique is to use a very small amount of steroid, anti-inflammatory steroid, but it has to be placed in the right spot. Okay. That's how you get the relief the same day.
So most of these doctors...
If we put it in the wrong spot, you don't get the relief.
Right.
And I know that. So that's my criteria.
So I'm going to ask you...
if I'm doing a good job, and that is...
Doing a great job.
Putting it in the right spot is the key to it. There's no downside to steroid if you use it in small amounts like that.
So, Sammy, let me give you an aside to that story. One of the people that talk to Pannozzo a lot, and one of the people that endorse him, and one of the things is that, just to let everybody out there know, that in order to endorse Dr. Pannozzo, you have to have a pain, and that he has to be able to take care of that. The girl's name is Leah. She's been on the station for many years, and she had problems with her ankle. She was told that she was going to have to be operated on. Leah is a very beautiful woman who also does a lot of skiing, a lot of exercise. She's into that. That's part of her life. She came in to see Dr. Pannozzo. He asked her to do her a favor and walk. She walked up and down his office, and he looked at her and said, "It's not your ankle, it's something in your back." Took the x-ray. That was 3 years ago. She's gone skiing, surfing with her husband, waterboarding, and everything.
She went waterboarding?
I know what the waterboarding is?
No.
It's that thing. It's a thing where it's that big, like a very large.
Nutter. Is waterboarding the thing with the board that you go on?
Yeah, and you use the oars.
No, it's military torture.
Military
treatment.
torture, yeah.
Oh, she went for that too.
You're thinking of a paddle board.
Paddleboarding. Thank you, Nutter.
Thank you.
Got a question?
Am I talking too fast? I'm trying to help you, Doc.
Okay.
Waterboard.
So I've been away a long time. Samantha from Boston writes, on one of your shows, you had people come in and talk about ringing in the ears. Oh, great. The patient that was sitting in your office says that the ringing stopped after you treated her in the neck area, not the ear area. Is this correct? How can ringing in the ears be something from the neck area, and why do all the doctors treat the ears for ringing? It's a great question.
They don't know any better, and they don't get the results. Why they keep doing it, I have no idea. That's the same stuff I learned in school when I went to school 50 years ago.
But did they tell you
They don't
this?
change anything.
It was in the neck?
Yeah, no. It's always in the ear.
Yeah.
And I developed the ear, the neck thing, because it makes sense to me. And we did the research on it. Like I said, we did the anatomical research, and now we do the clinical medicine. And I can guarantee you, you come in there with ringing in the ears, and it's going to be gone.
Same thing with concussions.
So guarantee.
Same
people.
thing as concussions, Doc.
Yep. Concussions are mainly neck injuries.
Well, they're finding it out now.
Yes.
After he spoke about it a year ago.
A year ago. Over a year ago.
Yeah. No, you said something to me, and I will never forget that. You see these guys that hit somebody with their head, and the head never gets ruined. Because you told me the way explain to them how the brain is so captured in that area.
Well, the brain is what has to be protected, and it's surrounded by layers of tissue that go around it, plus fluid. So you can't really get hurt there, and unless you have repeated blows, like for instance, if you get hit on the jaw, and your brain does this kind of thing, repeatedly, presumably you could start to have something. But the main problem with all of these people with ringing and vertigo and what's the other one?
Vertigo, tinnitus.
Tinnitus.
TMJ.
Not TMJ.
Sorry.
Tinnitus is because they all have an accident in the past, and that's the first thing I ask them. Did you have a neck injury in the past? And the answer is always yes.
Yes.
It's always yes. And
Same thing with scoliosis. You're not born with scoliosis.
No, it's the same thing. It's another injury. But these ear, nose, and throat guys are not used to this. They don't deal with musculoskeletal. You got to understand what these doctors do. We all have a specialty that we deal in. I don't deal with ear, nose, and throat.
Right.
I mean, if you have a sore throat, don't come to me. I don't want to know. I don't know how to do it. Mm-hmm. If you come with ringing in the ears, don't go to the ear, nose, and throat guy because he's not going to help you. We'll help you with that. And if you want a surgery, don't come to me. I don't do surgery.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think you've uncovered an area of the neck that does a lot of different damage to the body.
Yeah.
I think you just at the tip of the iceberg right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we've had people that have tingling in the hands.
Here's a new one.
Say like the thumb. Okay.
Oh wow, you didn't tell me this.
Tingling in the thumb is usually a C6 manifestation, but not necessarily a nerve. It can come from the annulus, which is a ligament. And that's what we're having trouble with the Medicare because they don't understand that. Their literature is 50 years ago.
Would you believe this, that Medicare is mad at him that he cures you, but they won't code it?
Because they don't understand what they don't understand. I understand. You got to do pannozzo 1, pannozzo 2,
but here's the bottom line.
pannozzo 3.
This frustrates me because I'm an old guy. In other words, they want him to do things that don't cure you.
That will not cure you.
Yeah. That
will
not
I
cure
do
you.
things that'll cure you. They say, well, we don't know anything about that. Well, learn. I mean,
So he's got patience there.
These people control billions of dollars of treatments.
How about trillions of dollars?
And they don't know the first thing about research.
No.
The things they use are done by anesthesiologists 20 years ago, and it's wrong. And I've told them that. The anesthesiologists, the ones who wrote the papers, I said, you're wrong about this. You don't treat this stuff.
How did you find out about the tinnitus, though? I mean, how were you able to find out about that? Someone just come in and you said, I have a pain in my neck, I have a pain in my head, but I'm also having trouble with the ringing in my ears?
That's about it.
Yeah.
And over a period of time, it makes a good scenario for you.
Mm-hmm.
And now, if you have ringing in your ears, I know exactly where it's from. We just go get it done.
I've seen
more
4
interested.
people already with the ringing in the ears that are cured in one day. I've seen it already.
What I'm trying to do is make a day just for that.
Ringing in the ears?
Oh, wow.
On those people who are working. So it had to be on a Saturday.
Yeah, he saw some people on Saturday. Did you see some people this Saturday, the ones that called in?
I know it came in from West Coast. They couldn't speak English at all. I mean, it took me hours to take care of it.
You should have called me.
I did, though.
You should have called me. I would have translated.
He would translate it for you.
Spanish?
Yeah.
Yeah, simple.
The husband didn't speak anything at all, and he was an orange picker. He was in the agriculture industry.
And what was his
pain?
He
didn't pay in oranges, did he?
His pain was all over the place.
Okay. The interesting thing, Doc, and I'm Latino, so I can say this, is that you've never even scratched the Latino market yet. Wait till they get a hold of you. We're working on that, but wait till they get a hold of you.
We have quite a few people. They usually bring a son or a daughter who speaks English.
Well, I'll tell you something about Latin people, because I worked with them with Prudential many years ago. They are very health conscious.
Yes.
Probably more than Americans. Oh, yes.
And they like Goya, any Goya product?
Yes, I know Goya. I like the beans.
That's
Goya
right.
beans.
Goya beans. They are very loyal.
Oh, God,
They will not go anywhere else if you fix one. Mm-hmm. Not a bean, but I mean a person. All right, what do you got there, big boy?
Okay, Warren from Boston writes, I am a medical student here in Boston. I watch a lot of the shows on your website. Thank you so much, Warren. I am completely amazed that your show isn't something that is scripted or just a funny show on the air. I have to ask you how you think removing inflammation is going to help get a particular area strong after you treat it. Physical therapy is the only method I have been shown that would work to increase mobility and strength in the area. How long have you been doing this? Great question. Let's go. You want to go one by one?
Sure.
Okay, one by one. He wants to know, how do you think removing inflammation is going to help in a particular area after you treat it?
Well, I don't know what he's talking
Strengthening
about.
the
Any
area.
pain, no. Strength is, you see, strength is overemphasized by the technicians, the therapists.
That's right.
In order to be weak, you have to have a nerve disease or a muscle disease. That's the only way you can have weakness, true weakness of a muscle. So they're strengthening the muscle there, which doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that way. So what they have is pain inhibition weakness,
Right.
which is not weakness at all.
There you go.
Okay, second. Oh, go ahead.
It's a guarding.
That's important, though.
Yeah, it's a guarding. You got to listen to this. It's a guarding, and you have to take care of the source of pain underneath that, and then you don't have any problem. I never send anybody for strengthening. You know why? Because when I take that pain out, they're going to be using those muscles anyway, and they
Start
go right
working
back,
out again.
right back to normal.
Right.
Now, if you don't know what to offer, you're going to offer machines, and you're going to offer this and that and the other, and trying to get rid of a pain. You will not get rid of a pain that way.
Right.
No, you won't. That's why therapists work for 20 visits, 30 visits a year,
Whatever
and they get
insurance you
nowhere because they can't decipher where the source of that pain is. Now, once you know that, it's easily treated. Then you don't need the rest of it.
Well, it's very funny you said that. We know I sent you a beautiful young lady who came to you. Couldn't lift weights. I mean, beautiful lady, great figure, but loves to lift weights. She's lifting weights now.
Well, the important thing that I'm getting from this is that you got that kid who could not pitch.
Oh.
He was put on the bench for 6 weeks.
Yeah.
When you took the pain out, you don't need to strengthen the arm. You're letting him go back to what he does.
Yeah, well,
I was there.
Going back to your story about the father,
Right.
his impression was that there's damage to the shoulder and it's going to take forever to fix it, maybe a surgery, and none of that was true. You can't keep a limb or shoulder or any ligament like that without using it, because if you stop using it, you know what it actually does, the ligament?
Atrophied.
It actually tightens down and becomes scar tissue inside.
Really.
Now, when that happens, you have lost your motion, right?
Right.
And now it hurts more
Right.
because it's worse and worse and worse. A shoulder will not get better by itself.
Important stuff.
Okay, and here's a third part of the question, which I love this one.
But that's a big deal for
Yes.
people that are listening right now, Les, and they have
Yeah.
shoulder injuries, pictures and stuff. What he just said makes all the difference in the world.
I was okay. I saw what Manx recorded. I was there, sitting there watching this kid.
But I can never understand
Watching this
in
kid
my
throw
brain.
a ball, throw the.
In my brain, if Dr. Pannozzo worked on somebody's shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
I always worried about, okay, is that shoulder going to be strong enough after he works on it? But you're absolutely right. All you're doing is removing the pain. The shoulder
Now,
strength is still the same.
Well, it's like the bodybuilder that came after she got rid of the pain. She was lifting weights and she's getting stronger again.
Yes. Can I say this? If instead of 6 weeks, if he would have been there 3 weeks, you removed the pain, that's 3 weeks of doing nothing. So he would have been a little bit stronger.
Yeah, well, we just prescribe push-ups and go ahead and pitch. The best way to exercise that is to go ahead and throw that ball.
That's amazing.
Is push-ups a good exercise?
Well, you're using muscles you
Yeah.
want to throw that ball. So that's the idea.
Well, I'm going to tell you
Push-ups
something.
does it in a general way, and it is the best exercise for any athlete, by the way. Push-ups.
All these people that used to use the belt when they worked
Belt?
out. You know, the belt around the waist. Okay, all were in
With
pain.
the machine, you know.
No, they used to wear the belt.
I
so they-
remember that.
Yeah. I could never understand that machine that was going to make you lose weight. Well, a lot of people in my gym now, after I told them, you're restricting the ability to use those muscles to strengthen them. And now, you know what? They're listening.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the third part of the question, which is the best part. So, Doc, how long have you been in business?
54 years.
Oh, so 54 years. Okay.
So you're a rookie.
Yeah.
So 54
The
years.
second 100 is the worst.
So the part I like here is physical therapy is the only method I have been shown that would increase mobility and strength in the area.
It does not.
And he's a medical student?
Medical student in Boston. He's not giving.
Oh, do you know what? Then this just like sums it up, Doc. This is what they're showing him.
Is what they're teaching him.
Yeah.
Yep.
Here's-
This is what they teach. They don't teach musculoskeletal to the medical students. They send in a lecturer, gives you one lecture, and gives you the worst kind of x-rays you can see on the slide projector. You know nothing about examination of these things. You know nothing about treatment. You're only referring to the surgeon. That's all you're doing. Or refer to the therapist. The therapists don't know anything about it. They go to a trade school. They're not diagnosticians.
Now, Warren, here's
But they're not taught how to diagnose the problem.
Exactly.
This medical student is losing.
And I want to tell this medical student something that I
He's
think he
losing.
should know.
He ought to call me up or come down here and spend a week with me, and I'll show him a couple of things.
Warren, I'm going to give you Dr. Pannozzo's cell number. It's 561-381-5800. He'll be more than happy to talk to you. But here's the most important thing. Doctor, where'd you graduate school?
Ohio State.
As an MD?
Yeah.
And you interned for how many years?
1 year at Philadelphia General, which they don't have anymore, and 3 years at Ohio State.
So just so you are
Musculoskeletal medicine. Musculoskeletal medicine.
You were a real doctor. I want everyone to understand this in Boston. A real doctor who did everything a doctor's supposed to do, graduated with honors, and is probably what I would say is one of the best doctors that I've met. And I've been around the block a long time, and I'm so screwed up. I got so many things wrong with me. Hey, doctor, you notice my face?
It's nice.
Thank you. Doc showed me how to get my face, all the wrinkles out. No shots, folks. Okay. Now we have to go back to New. What are you looking at?
Okay, we
no
take care
comment.
of this medical student?
I'm sorry?
We took care
Warren.
of the medical
His
student?
name is Warren.
Huh?
Okay.
Okay.
So
He's
Warren,
got
if
to
you,
learn more about the dynamics of design and function of the joint. So once you learn that, you'll learn how to treat it, because each structure has its own function. That's the way it was designed. This is not by accident. I really think it was designed with somebody.
God did a heck of a job in this, didn't he?
A heck of a job, but you got to understand what the thing is, how it works. And once you understand it, then you can devise a treatment per structure in these, especially the shoulder.
Now, again, Warren, if you really want to learn, let me just give you one thing. When you go to an orthopedist, the first thing he's going to say to you is, I think you need some physical training. Hold on a second. Your policy gives you 12. Yours gives you 6. So now the guy that's going for 6, is he going to get cured faster than me because he's going for 12? Because our beautiful company that's called Medicare.
No, if he had, this is a shoulder from this Warren. Right?
No, he's just kind of talking about. He saw your show and he was interested in knowing what you do. He looked you on the website.
Well, he had the shoulder though.
No, that was the other guy.
Oh.
The first guy.
Shoulders are 1 day, one treatment.
And migraines are usually 1 day, right?
One treatment. Yeah.
Now let me ask you a question, Doc, for all the new people in Boston. Do you guarantee that they come to you for a migraine, you'll cure it?
Yes.
Guaranteed.
Yes.
Wow. Fred, is your doctor guarantee that he'll help you?
The only guarantee he gives me is I'm sending you a bill. That's his guarantee.
Well, you heard that old story. 2 guys were golfing, and one guy said to his buddy who's a doctor, he said, I'm getting this really bad pain, and he told him what to do. 4 days later, he got a bill for $300. So he got mad, and he called up his attorney and said, you want to hear something funny? I'm talking to Harry on the golf course. He sent me a bill for $300. I said, I'll take care of it. Next week, got a bill from his attorney for $600. Yeah. Okay. So you know what I say? Before you even contemplate surgery or being told you have to take meds. Before I met you, one doctor told me, I want you to take these meds. The orthopedic guy called to my doctor and says, Les, those meds will kill you with what you have. Take 2 aspirin.
Right.
Then I met you. Okay, Jenny from New York writes, I have 2 boys that love sports and seem always to be getting hurt playing them. I wanted your opinion about having children visit your particular brand of medicine as they grow older in life. I want to stop right there. What do you say about that, Doc?
Before you answer that, Doc.
Oh, James from West Palm Beach. Sorry, James, it wasn't working. Hold on. Hi, James. You're here with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo?
Yes, sir. How are you today?
No, he's Anthony Pannozzo. I'm the guy that answered the phone.
Good, James. How are you?
Good.
I'm doing great. My question is on vertigo. My wife has it, and she doesn't get it all the time. But can you help her out with that?
Yes.
And it's very dangerous, James, when she's driving and she gets an attack of vertigo. She's a danger to herself and everybody around her.
Well, James, I have sent in a girl that had gone for almost every type of doctor you could think of, and with vertigo and terrific migraines. He took care of her in one day, and that was a year ago. And when I see her in Starbucks, I always get a free cup of coffee, just to let you know. So I know it works.
Yeah, it does work.
If she doesn't really have it right then, I can bring her into you, and you can help her out.
Yeah, we can still figure out where it's from because the evidence will be there. The vertigo is a manifestation of the problem, but
right.
it never really goes away. That's why it comes back.
Okay, yeah. She's been having it for this week, all week long, so it seems like it's just about every day.
No, bring her in.
Well.
Let's get it while it's there.
Well, let me give you Dr. Pannozzo's number. We could call him. He'll answer the phone directly. It's 561.
All right.
381.
381.
5800. And if you want to thank me, you can get me a bottle of Tito's, because it will definitely work.
Well, she's gonna thank her husband.
Yeah, no, it's amazing.
You're gonna be a scholar.
Listen, you know who gets benefit from this? The husband.
The
Yes.
husband. Yeah.
Oh, honey, no, I can't tonight. I have vertigo.
It'd be about time the husband got a little benefit anyway.
There you go.
I'm with you.
There you go. That's a little loving for the husband.
Yeah. And you know what? It does really work. I mean, I don't know how to convince people. I'm at his office on
Go to the
surprise
next
visits.
question.
Okay, my friend, thank you so much. I hope you bring your wife in.
I've got your number at 381-5500. I got you.
Now,
You
hold
got
on.
5800.
561 381 5800. 5800.
Okay.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Okay, Doc, we've got, that was a second. Okay, my kids have pain in both knees and hips from all the games they have played. But they are young. They're 9 years old and 12 years old. Can your service help them because they're this age?
Yes.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, I think that part of the high school regimen, you have to take a physical.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what? It's control of the nurse. And
No, I
they
understand
don't know a thing about it. I mean, it's just a shame.
Well, I seen the physical they take. I laugh at it. You go to Urgent MD or something like that.
Well,
it's
your
really
boys
simple.
And where's the
Freddy?
Board of Education to allow this to happen?
It's craziness.
I mean, it's nuts. They don't take responsibilities.
But what I would like to do is I'd like to
it's a
have
shame.
Dr. Pannozzo as part of the regimen. So you have to see him and get an okay that the kid is clean to play. Because if you pick up an ailment or some kind of injury on this child, I want to know about it as a coach
Sure.
and a parent.
Yeah.
Because maybe he shouldn't be playing.
The parents are too involved with the people who don't know how to treat them.
Yeah, but they got to separate, Doc, because
which is the pediatrician, the orthopedic surgeon, and the trainer. And the coach. They're all subject to all of this.
Whatever happened
And
to
it's just-
Hippocrates' oath that you have to take care of a patient the best way you can?
but they don't know, Les.
They're not responsible.
They don't know.
They don't have the responsibility.
Doc, having the hip be, he's gonna go cough. Having the hip being one side higher than the other, like I have, changes the dimensions of the positions that these kids can play on the field.
Absolutely, and especially this age because they're starting to grow. See.
That's right. If your hip has more pressure on your right side than it does in your left, I mean, think about this for a second. And you want to play third base, you are going to be weaker to your right side.
Yeah.
So you can't protect the line. Your throwing motion changes. Your footwork changes. Your timing changes. I'm talking as a coach for over 20 years. Everything changes.
Everything changes.
They come to you. I know what the deal is. Either I move him, fix him so that he has more leverage, play him in a different spot, changes the game.
Yep.
Well, it changes him.
Not only
changes
that,
everything.
but if they want to get scholarships on this age group, they better make sure that they get fixed because they're not going to get the scholarship
That's
because
right.
they can't compete
That's right.
with the normal kids.
And they're playing at a disadvantage.
Absolutely.
Playing at a disadvantage. And that's the same thing I tell these guys that just got cut. You practice and try it out at a disadvantage.
What happens in the undergraduate, these kids get scholarships and they come to me to keep them playing. And I take care of them and nobody knows anything about it. They go back and they perform well for the coach.
That's right.
And then they graduate with a scholarship. I mean, this is the way to go.
Well, people think that it's nickel and dimes. You're talking about giving an
scholarship has got to be expensive.
Yeah.
Well, it depends where you go.
Okay.
And college football started yesterday. You know how many kids got hurt in yesterday? Over 100. These are kids playing.
I'm glad
in
you're
pain.
here talking about this stuff because I don't know how you get all this information.
Well, I watch it like a sponge.
Oh, okay.
But you know, the more I realize what you do, its application to me is getting clearer and clearer. This is a business move. That third base thing about a player playing hurt, weaker on the right side because of his hips. All of that is because I've talked to you over the years, and I'm thinking, you know, I was always weaker to my left side. Always.
Right.
That meant that I could not hit because you have to follow through. I'm a right-hand batter on my left side.
You can't have
it's the same as golf.
the problem.
Absolutely.
Same as golf, and what you had, you cannot have a normal swing.
That's right.
It's impossible to get it.
Thank you. And that is what I've been trying to tell coaches now.
Yeah.
I says, you got to go see him.
These are physical problems, and it's like the swing at the tee for golf. That is a full blast of the body right there and there.
Same
It's
thing
the
with
only
the
place.
baseball. So basically, it's the same swing.
And it's the same swing for
Yeah.
baseball and the same swing for hockey or any of them. I mean, anytime you're rotating the body, it has the same dynamics to it.
That's right.
And speaking
And-
about hockey, everyone, whoever, especially you people in Boston, Doc takes care of Cheevers.
He's taking care of a goalie. But, you know, it's a good point on hockey because, again, you
Same
got to
swing.
follow through with the hips. And the weaker hip, if it's your leading hip, like I'm a righty, I bat right-handed, I'm going to be weaker. Now, when I bat left-handed, the ball was disappearing. But I wasn't a left-handed hitter. So now everything that I'm growing up with is just making sense. And I'm telling coaches, bring your athlete to Dr. Pannozzo, work something out with him, let him do all 18 of them, and you will have a better plan to success.
And you also have a better team.
Of course.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, if you have a team that's talented and they're off the bench, you got yourself a winner.
That's right.
Let the rest of them put their players on the bench.
Mr. Belichick, who's the greatest coach in the world, if you want to keep your people playing, this is the guy to see. Call us up, Bill Belichick, at 561-381.
I'm not paying you for that.
50. No, you're not.
You're not paying. I'm not paying these guys for what they say. I mean, they're here because they like broadcasting.
No,
Now I'm getting texts about removing wrinkles. Not everybody. Don't want everybody's texting me. Thank you, Les.
I'm going to tell you a story about that. Doc, we're almost done with the show. The doctor said to me one day, "You want to get rid of those wrinkles on your face?" I said, "Yeah." He said, take a sponge or a hard cloth and rub it until it comes red. Well, I got rid of the wrinkles on one side of my face.
Yeah.
Now I'm doing the other. I'm up and seeing my daughter. You know, she comes out. My wife says, "You know, you're like your father. Why is your face so red?" So I take the thing and I rub it, and she didn't even know I did it.
So rubbing your face with a towel.
No, with a like one of those those rough towels, right,
It's
Doc?
called dermabrasion.
Yeah.
So that removes the wrinkles.
But did he hear?
It did, yeah. The other side, you
I'm
have
doing
to,
the other side now.
You have to scrub harder.
Well,
But that's good.
But Doc said if you start doing that on the top of your head, you might, hello everybody, you might grow your hair.
You think?
Yeah.
Man, I'm going to show you it all.
So here's what I want to say to everybody, just to let everyone know. We don't get paid to do this show. We've been doing this for 3 years. We believe in what he does. I'm a patient. Frey's a patient. There's Greek's a patient, if anyone listens to Greek. We as a patient, we have people. My family goes to him.
Well, people are telling me now, I heard of Dr. Pannozzo.
Yeah.
That's never happened before.
I have people in the gym that said, "You guys on Sunday are amazing. Is he real?" I says, "No, I'm just doing this to have nothing else to do on Sunday." Yes, he is real.
Well, Doc, what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to go around and, yes, 3 minutes, I know. I'm going to go around to Little League and high school baseball games, talk to the coaches and hand out your cards, and I'm going to have them come in and take a physical with the doc, and I'm going to explain to them the advantages of having what doctor does for his players. Yet, and Connecticut said that Dr. Pannozzo's commercial was on last night at 3:15 in the morning.
Okay.
Thank you, Connecticut.
Well, let me tell you that's what you said. When you're in pain, you watch TV at 3:15 in the morning. Okay? I know that.
Most people are up at 3:15.
When I had my groin pain, I was watching this guy selling a mop on QVC.
Only you would be able 315 buying them up.
Well, Freddie, I was in such pain I had to sleep on a chair. I couldn't even sleep with my wife.
Did you buy the mop?
Well, I bought the mop for myself and my wife, and actually I bought it for the maids. My wife doesn't do any house cleaning. Hey, respect to you too. I give you these.
See ya.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me say something to you. If your son, your daughter, your husband, yourself, or a friend is in pain, before you take medications that could really hurt you, and some of these pain medicines are very, very hard on your stomach, go see Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's an MD. He knows what he's doing. 561-381-5800. I will bet you anything you will thank me. I drink Tito's and I drink Malbec wine. Thank you. Have a great Sunday. God bless our troops.